We begin tonight at 6 tracking these storms across central Indiana that may impact your evening plans.
And those rain chances are not going away anytime soon. You can see it right there, at least a chance for some showers today over the next 7 days. A lot.
Yeah, Angela's tracking these storms and what's to come later this week.
Yeah, and when you see a forecast like that, it's one of those weeks. Check back with us, check the radar before and during those outdoor plans, because these storms will have an impact, and they have today with very heavy rain and lots of lightning in some cases. I do want to show you where the heaviest rain is falling now, and it is south of Indianapolis. So here we are in Johnson County. This is weakening a little bit as it starts to move north, so won't be as intense if it holds together at all, Greenwood, as it continues to move north. It is very intense over the heart of Decatur County. Heavy rain and lots of lightning over Greensburg right now, and there are a couple of cells just to the west of Indianapolis in between Rockville and Kingman. All of this is lifting up to the north and northwest. Northwest is where we find the threat of severe weather tonight. Threat of severe weather covers the northern half of the state during the day tomorrow. What's left on radar the next couple of hours will weaken. However, indications are we get a couple waves of storms in that Wednesday forecast. I'll walk you through the timeline in a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Angela. Thanks. We're gearing up tonight for that busy weekend here in our city with the WNBA All-Star Game and the 54th annual IBE Summer Celebration.
A lot of guests are coming here to town. Right now, the city's estimating we'll be hosting tens of thousands of visitors. But before all of the action starts, right now there is a call to action, and it's coming from members of the community after back-to-back deadly weekends downtown. In fact, just last weekend, IMPD investigated 8 shootings. In the end, 12 people were shot. 6 were killed.
And all of that followed a deadly 4th of July weekend with 22 shootings, including a mass shooting in downtown Indy that left 2 people dead and 5 others injured. So in the wake of all these shootings, we've heard one message: somebody do something.
So our Brandon Schaff today talked to one group now looking to answer that call.
Here at the intersection of Washington and Illinois, it was the site of that violence that we saw in downtown Indianapolis earlier this month. Those kids had an opportunity to hear a message against gun violence right here in that same location.
Let me say this: enough is enough.
Young Men Inc. hosted a 3-point empowerment challenge on Tuesday ahead of the upcoming WNBA All-Star Game. Reverend Malachi Walker challenged kids to these 3 points. 1. Speak life and not strife. 2. Guarding the gates, encouraging parents to monitor their kids. And 3. Building bridges, not barriers. 12-year-old Porter Al-Rajabi was best friends with Jeremiah Cotton, a 12-year-old who was shot and killed in Cumberland earlier in July. He said that they played football together and shared many great memories.
One thing I learned from YMI is don't touch a gun.
8-year-old Jeremiah Thompson was Cotton's cousin. He was one of the young men challenged by Walker on Tuesday to remain peaceful.
It's just good to see all these young men in downtown.
Walker said that he tells kids what they learn isn't just for them. Take it home and share the message. 11-year-old Xavier Brown had his own words of encouragement.
Don't be on these streets like other people are now. Still, if you are on these streets, still try to come up, try to be a better you.
Gun violence is personal for Walker after losing his daughter when she was just 24 years old. He said that that empowered him to teach peace, and that Young Men Inc. helps keep kids away from violence that can come while carrying a gun.
This program has helped them to really change their whole mindset and turn it around and get on the right track.
Walker's message for these young men: only go downtown with a parent or responsible adult. They heard that message loud and clear.
Did I make myself clear?
Yes, sir!
Brandon Schaff, 13 News.
Tonight, Indiana Governor Mike Braun also responding to the recent violence downtown.
Our Emily Longnecker is here tonight with what the governor said today and what changes, if any, may be coming in the future.
Well, Governor Braun said today that weekend here in Indy almost 2 weeks ago doesn't do Indiana or Indianapolis any good. And the governor said when IMPD asked for help from the state police in the wake of that mass shooting, he said yes. When asked if he planned to provide more help than that at the request of Indy FOP President Rick Snyder, the governor said when he looks at the state capitol and compares it to 9 years ago, something's got to give. But the governor stopped short of offering specifics of if or how the state would offer to help curb any issues downtown.
I think it would be a dereliction if you weren't at least talking about it, and then sooner or later seeing if they're going to take action that really shows results, or put your heads together in terms of what that next step might be. I'm not going to say what it's going to be. I'm saying it's at the point where something needs to change.
Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett issued a statement regarding the governor's comments. It read in part, quote, "I respect Governor Braun's concern, but he's not on the ground in Indianapolis. While we are saddened by the incidents that have taken place over the last few weekends, the facts are irrefutable. Violence has been on the decline for the last 3 years. Our gun violence reduction strategy is saving lives." In addition to asking for more help from the state, Indy FOP President Rick Snyder said any proposed changes to the curfew were short-sighted solutions and shallow. Mayor Hogsett saying this week that those proposed changes to the curfew are just the beginning, and the city would be taking steps all summer to ensure that things stayed as peaceful as possible here in the city. Governor Braun indicating today, though, that he felt like more could be done. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Emily, thanks. City County Councilors holding a meeting tomorrow. They're hosting this to get feedback on a proposal to change the curfew rules in downtown Indy.
So under this proposal, anyone between the age of 15 and 17 would be required to be home by 11 o'clock at night on weekends. Curfew would begin at 9 o'clock during weekdays, and curfew for anyone under the age of 15 would be 9 o'clock every night.
The Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee will review the proposals tomorrow night at 5:30. The public is welcome. If you've got information that you'd like to know more about that or go to WTHR.com. Tonight, a 14-year-old in Marion learned that he likely now will spend a good portion of his life behind bars in prison.
Zayden Guy was just 13 at the time of a fatal shooting last March that killed 24-year-old Byron Dennis Jr. The judge today listened to arguments from prosecutors and an impact statement from Dennis's mom, Tony. She said the past year has been hard on the family and said her son was a good man. Zayden Guy also addressed the court, speaking to not only the judge, but also to the mom.
I'm very sorry for what I've done and the damage I've caused to the Dennis family as a young man at the age of 13. I was young enough to make better decisions and think about doing things before I didn't.
Zayden Guy will now serve the first few years in juvenile detention. Then he will move to a prison when he turns 18.
He has 30 days to file an appeal.
This is an interesting one. Let's talk taxes and masks, some of your favorite topics, right? At the State House, state leaders today are breathing a really big sigh of relief, saying that the finances for the state are stable as we're closing out now the fiscal year.
So this is significant because this year has really been an economic roller coaster. Back in April, the state of Indiana projected it was on track to get $2 billion less than expected. So state lawmakers scrambled to make some cuts with just a few weeks to go before the end of their legislative session.
And then imagine the announcement today when budget leaders say that they're ending this fiscal year now with a surplus. However, Democratic leaders caution that this does not factor in the impact from President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which they estimate will cost Indiana hundreds of millions of dollars. To Westfield now in Hamilton County, where the fire department says that it plans to start charging nursing homes for making non-emergency calls.
Yeah, the department is telling us it received nearly 200 calls this year so far to pick up fallen people who were not injured. Fire officials also tell us they received calls to take patients to routine doctor follow-up appointments.
So that department now is taking action and is going to start charging anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per non-emergency call that they receive.